It's the Parliament, your program that brings to your living room live parliamentarians from different constituencies as they bring to you topical issues from social, economic, and political topics. Welcome to this week's edition. My name is Misty Blescin Uba, the Speaker of this Parliament. As I introduce the parliamentarians, on my far right is Peterhilz Mukoro.
You're welcome.
And on my immediate right is Johnny.
You're welcome.
My immediate left is Lola.
Good evening, welcome back to the Parliament.
Now the parliamentarians are seated here, and so we thank you parliamentarians in diaspora, as we thank those who've been part of this program, GSR 360 Studios, Gamma Communications, Nigerian Breweries, Guinness Nigerian PLC. We thank you all for being part of this program, and most importantly, you parliamentarians in diaspora. This week's edition, our topic is: why is divorce rate high today in our society? Today in our society, marriage that has been seen as a sacred institution has become a toy in the hands of those who do not understand or who refuse to see the value of it as a sacred institution. Divorce is defined as legal dissolution of marriage by a court or any other competent body. Lola, we're looking at divorce, as it were. In our society today, it's becoming more and more alarming. Why do you think it's so?
It's a terrible issue we are experiencing now in our society. However, it's so sad to hear that a relationship can be given a way out after putting so much effort by the parties involved. But however, there are a lot of things that attributed or contributed to these failures, which I believe, if not, we are maturity, background, and let me say, you should know the meaning of marriage before committing ourselves into it. So as time goes on, or as the program goes on, we should be able to develop issues that arise to the reason why many people divorce. Thank you.
Johnny, what do you think?
Yeah, on the issue divorce, why is it rampant these days? Personally, I don't think anything has changed.
Okay.
I don't think there's an increase or there's a reduction in the rate of divorce.
You think it's been so?
I think what we have more is a kind of transformation.
Okay.
Divorce or separation has been made easier via a big name, divorce. That is just what I have on that.
Peter, what's your take?
Divorce, as I know it, is an elder brother of separation in regards to marriage, and it is endemic these days because, you know, like they say, you rush in, you rush out. You know, value system debased, you know, moral values undermined, you know, religious ethics downplayed, social, you know, structures,
and even traditional values,
that is dismantled.
Okay.
So the end point is what we are having right now.
Now, at this point, we need to look at this. How many legal marriages do we have? I can tell you that on the streets of the cosmopolitan cities we have today in our societies, a lot of people cohabit and they call it marriage. A man wakes up, he takes a woman into his house, bears children for him, and he doesn't know where the woman comes from. As far as the definition of marriage is concerned, that is cohabitation. That cannot be seen as marriage. And so we must look at this, putting into consideration those that are properly married. Lola, let's look at this. Proper marriage, as it were, in our society today.
there's a lot of things to take into consideration before involving yourself in this institution. And we discover now that most of the so-called people coming into the institution are the younger ones.
No, they will always come. In fact, the old ones will not come in.
They continue to
it is the young ones
because I look at probably sometimes there's need for maturity in intellect before you can commit yourself.
But don't forget too.
Wait.
Okay.
However, the issue of maturity comes from the parental guardians who come from both sides that, okay, this is due now for you. After you have graduated, being a university graduate, now you can go to marriage.
Okay.
But there are some people without even being graduate because they are mature, they are grown up to age of 18 or 21, working recklessly somehow, impregnate somebody, marriage comes in.
So can that be seen as marriage?
That's not marriage. But the moment you insert a legal
and so it means that separation in that one cannot be counted as divorce.
It cannot be counted as divorce because it's not legally bounded.
Okay.
But however, if it is legally bounded, a lot of things leads to that divorce or lead to divorce.
Yeah.
Reason is this: you are coming to marry and you are going to a registry.
Yeah.
There's a constitution in that registry before that you have to sign that you accepted this before you go into marriage. But many people overlook it. There's something we call love, and love, according to them, is blind. They know, but they go because they love. I love you.
And
but
so they are blind when
they don't apply the wisdom.
Johnny, let's look at this.
Yes, on the issue, divorce itself, I strongly believe that it has been in existence long before now.
Yes.
And that people have been practicing it before our time, and what the difference is the convenience.
Okay.
Because
it's a lot more convenient.
It's a lot more convenient for you to have a divorce now than it used to be. First things first, if we go back memory lane, our fathers and the rest of them, most people came from a polygamous family. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
Normally, the man shifts his affection from one woman to another. He marries that one into his house. And he can continue like that for heaven knows how long, maybe 7 wives and thereabout. There's no loophole for him to ditch the first one and just keep the second one. Okay. Now it's easier. You can actually go for a divorce the first one, keep the second one, and you continue. If you go through the legal means or go through other means that allow
such things,
such separations. So I believe the society makes it
a lot more
easier for divorce to proliferate more like.
Peter, we're looking at value systems. Do you think our value system, the degradation of our value system, you think it has enhanced this menace that we're seeing in our society today?
I think let's go a little bit back into how it all started. You know, the man begets a wife. The wife is the second half of that man,
as described by the Bible, not as it is practiced by the scriptures.
Excuse me, I'm going back. Let me use my own precepts.
Okay.
Now, let me come back to Africa here. In the days of subsistence living, don't forget these products of these marriages were used as labor force.
Yes.
Do you understand? That's why you see polygamy, reigning supreme.
Was
the call of the day then. Because as many wives you marry, the more children you will have, the more workforce that you will have, the more labor force that you will have. So toleration is key, because the wife that you don't like, or the wife that does not give you the real goodies, quotes and unquotes, in cool down zone R, might beget the person that
can help you labor wise.
Yes. So for loyalty and continue to remain, you retain that person.
Okay.
So tolerance was there then, and then there was history of the background of
wherever you're getting the wife
the wife is from. And don't forget, there were coexistence, natural values, cultural values that bind most people together. The clan of this man, or the husband in this case, might definitely investigate. I know the background of the clan of the wife then. They know the history, they know whether in that family, if you go there, there's epilepsy, you know, whatever. So they did a whole lot of research then. In these days, why you see it more prevalent now? I don't want to bring the religion, I don't want to bring religion into it now. I'm just trying to hit the nail on the head now. What you see in our modern situation is because they work 9 to 5, they spend more day at offices. They spend like 4 hours or 6 hours in traffic. You have affinity more with your official colleague than even your husband at home. So you find that there is more interpersonal relationship
officially than
domestically.
Okay.
I went for the two extremes.
Okay.
But later I will fill in the gap.
Okay.
I would really want to agree with the fact that yes, there was a need for the labor force, but there's a vital question too. Were there no monogamous families then?
There were.
There are very few.
No, but they were.
No, the truth about the matter is they were. So we cannot actually really
see it as a major reason
why people went into polygamy.
That was the reason for polygamy.
Like I was saying, it is a more convenient way to get rid of a lady you're tired of. And in our precept, it worked worse for Africa. Africans, I wouldn't say are more polygamous, let's say humans in general are polygamous by nature. And with the advent of divorce, it made it easier. Look, the man does not want this lady.
Procreation is a key reason there too.
Reducing his expenses, reducing his cost of managing his body. Yes, reducing his body. The cost of managing this extended form of family. He could just opt for divorce, reduce it, and go on with what it feels it's new,
more convenient,
and more convenient.
Okay, Lola, do you think the loss of our traditional values have, supported more of this divorce case?
Well, it's a big relief if one is in a bondage in marriage.
Okay,
and created a divorce means that okay, let me just go.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you see, in our institution does not allow that.
Yeah.
But the system we operate allows that.
Yeah.
However, the composition of the lady or man who wants to marry must be known initially before you come into a relationship.
Yeah.
So that's what we call courtship. And however, in terms of endowment, you should know that this your wife is endowed on so aspect of life. So that's going to be an added advantage for anybody. But that one is lack. But now, is this a virus? Wait. This is a virus that grows because it's only when you get together, you get to know more about yourself.
Yeah.
Now this virus continues to grow. Oh, I get to know that you are infidel, you are doing this, you are doing that. So hatred continues to develop. As a result, leads to divorce.
I want to also bring to note once more, just like I did the last time. You see, the issue of divorce itself is not just a function of incompatibility.
Okay.
It goes beyond that. We humans exist in a communal form, and at times when things like this happen, drawing down to basics, divorce issues itself in families, in traditions, have come a long way. People go back in some traditions to pay what we call ungo.
Yeah.
Some traditions.
Yeah.
It's traditional divorce.
Yeah.
It has been there.
By any other competent body.
Yes, it's traditional divorce. The issue divorce is not new to us. What I'm trying to emphasize here is that people believe these days it's more convenient, it's cheaper, it's easier for you to
divorce than to maintain
that extended family. You understand? That worked then.
Okay.
that's where modernization comes in.
Okay.
I said something earlier. I said before they get married, there's usually an agreement, you know, and it is based on the value system of that particular culture.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I want to get married to, or my son want to get married to John's daughter, for instance. Of course, the history is just on my fingertip.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Then we will do some extra consultations spiritually if they will be compatible. So even before they grow to the age of puberty, we know these people are bonded. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it worked well then because there are rules.
Institutional backings.
And backed by decision and backed by the communal,
family
binding
system.
Exactly, cultural system. So once you see this person's betrothed wife, as it were, then you will say, "Now, John wife be that too."
Yeah.
Do you understand? You know, he still operates somewhere in the north till now, but it's no more in my place anyway. I'm from Delta State. I'm a Robo man. You know, it doesn't work anymore there again.
Okay.
But so when you have those institutions, it is very difficult for divorce to come to play because they are see, once they have
But does that not leave them more in a bondage system if they are not really compatible from what you see?
The true question is, do we have less institutions now?
Can I land, please?
Yeah.
Why this lasted before the adulteration of our system, you know, I'm throwing a different line now. Before the adulteration of our system by the invaders, you know, this was
by the Western civilization. By the Western civilization.
I would not want to support the idea that divorce came through the Western.
No. They said before the system was infiltrated.
We are talking about the development that has taken place.
There are ways to settle these issues. Like for instance, if your wife, you know, feels aggrieved by your action, you know, that maybe you suddenly turned a different person or bestial overnight, and you know, if she refuses or she cannot tolerate you and maybe hold a discussion with you to sort out those issues, she now take it upon herself to run straight to the family house. The father will never
system.
Yes, the father will never accommodate
her to be in that.
Yes. Say no. I'm not your husband.
Was that not negating people's personal rights?
Listen, it was.
Does the woman not have the right to refuse to stay in a marriage where she feels uncomfortable?
There are mediatory points to sort out issues.
Mediatory point to what she feels right to herself as an adult or not.
Have you considered what begets the children of divorce homes now?
No. You see, the truth is that personal rights must be allowed.
I'm still asking the basic.
I'm not negating that, but I'm saying that
family's been eroded.
I'm saying that because of the value system, then we had more value
to marriage. Value systems, have they disappeared?
No. Those value systems have been eroded.
They are eroded.
They're eroded.